What's up, YouTube? How's everyone doing? It's your boy Reg in the building. Give me 1 second. There we go. It's your boy Reg in the building. The album I am about to do today is GangStarr with its fifth studio album, Moment of Truth. This was released in 1998 on New Tribe under um, New Tribe under Virgin Records. I reviewed this album years ago, but I'm actually decided to re-review it actually because, like I said before, I wasn't really too crazy about my initial GangStarr reviews, to be real with you, and so I just thought to myself I could do a lot more better. And the fact that I got the majority of the albums too, I was like, let me just re-review these albums and stuff like that. And I reviewed everything from Normal Mr. Nice Guy up to Hard to Earn. Talk about Guru's first album. I did a review on Bahamady's Collage album years ago. Did a review on Jay the Damage's first two albums. Um, yeah. So all I'm just missing is the owners and the last album that they came out with, one of the best yet, which that's gonna be a very dope review. Y'all can't miss that one. Alright, so this album was released in 1998. Singles album was known for was You Know My Steez, The Militia, Royalty. That was a single too. Yeah. Cause I want to say there was a video to Royalty too. I want to say that. Both Preemo and Guru produced this album and stuff like that. Guest appearances include Casey and JoJo, Inspector Deck of Wu Tang Fam, Hannibal Stacks, M.O.P., Big Shug, Freddie Fox, Crumb Snatcher, G Dep, Shiggy Shaw, and Scarface. Alright, so after the release of Hard to Earn, GangStarr kind of took like a little hiatus because they wanted to work on like separate projects and whatnot. You guys should know that DJ Premier pretty much produced hella shit from like Nas to Fat Joe, Biggie, and stuff like that. And around that time too, I'm sorry, I was looking for something. And around that time too, he was, doing like a lot of like Gangstar projects, like the Group Home album, which I do have to talk about. I know a lot of people wanted me to do that album too. He was also working on just like a lot of side projects too and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because he was like building his name as one of the best producers at that time. And so, while DJ Premier was pretty much, doing his thing, Guru was pretty much doing his thing as well too. Because in 1995, he dropped the Jazzmatazz Volume 2 album, which I'm gonna do that album one day. I'm not gonna do that anytime soon because I really have to re-listen to that album. And also, in 1996, he actually got in trouble with the law because he was arrested for carrying a concealed weapon and stuff like that, which I'm gonna get into while I'm doing this review. So stay tuned on that. And so, fast forward to 97, 98, they began working on this album right here and shit. Um, a lot of fans, including myself, have said that this is like their best studio album. And even DJ Premier said this was his favorite album and stuff too. And it's crazy because I've noticed a lot of people recently either say either this album or Hard to Earn as their favorite album and shit. So that's something like fucking DJ Premier and Guru right here, Moment of Truth. Like this was a very like emotional time right here and stuff, you know what I'm saying? So yeah man, I can't wait to talk about this album. Like I said, this album has about 20 tracks, so let's get this shit started. Track number one, You Know My Steez. Very, very dope track. Nice way to start the album off, and it was like, of course, a single as well too. One thing I've noticed about this track was, of course, the sample. And according to Preemo, he was influenced by the sample by after listening to it being used on Showbiz and AG's Runaway Slave album, which that's another album I have to do a review on very soon. Sometime before this year's over, I'm gonna touch that album one day. And yeah, it was a very dope track. I love the video towards it and stuff like that. Guru having some ill lines throughout the whole track too. Like I want to say this is probably one of his best performances. This album is probably one of his best performances in hip hop, in my opinion. Like Guru saying some shit like, "Who's the suspicious character strapped with sounds profound, similar to rounds by derringers? You're in a terror dome, like my man Chuck D said. It's time to dethrone your clones and all you knuckleheads and stuff." And what I got from like, Know My Steez, just reintroducing themselves and stuff like that. So very very dope track. Track number two, which is playing in the background, Robin Hood Theory. Um, Pretty much this is another very dope track. Preemo said that this was the first track that they've done for this album, and it talks about how people should stand in unity against like corporations and the power to be, because he's taking like the metaphor of Robin Hood of stealing from the rich and giving to the poor and stuff like that too. So I found that to be very unique. Found that to be very dope. Um, track number three. Track number three, we got Work. One of their signature songs, in my opinion. I love that beat, like da 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 da. I love that beat to that track. It's so fucking ill. Nice usage of the Manhattan sample, by the way. And this track was originally supposed to have been for the movie Caught Up, but at the same time, what had happened was while they were still working on the album, while they still working on the album, they had to push it, and this song was released after the film was released. And the people that caught up gave them the rights to use the song and stuff like that. And yeah, I definitely love this track. Very dope track, man. Like very dope track. The remix, this remix, I want to say with Big L, that was pretty dope too. So I'm gonna post a link on that. Track number four, Royalty, featuring Casey and JoJo. Okay, so a lot of people, when it comes to Moment of Truth, a lot of people have like said that the guest appearances was pretty much one of GangStarr's most unique to date. Like, for example, like you never thought you would have like Casey and JoJo on a GangStarr track and stuff like that. But this is actually one of my favorite songs, not just from this album, but just from GangStarr itself and stuff like that. And yeah, man, very dope track. Um, Crazy thing about this track was the fact that Casey and JoJo did not want to be doing no R&B type beat and stuff like that. They just wanted like a full, authentic GangStarr track, which I find that to be very unique because if you really think like this was like in 1998 and the boundaries with hip hop and R&B was really like, how can I put this, lessening and stuff like that, because it was like more on the norm for like a lot of rappers to work with a lot of R&B singers, and usually it would have been like this like little R&B club banger kind of beat and stuff like that. But Casey and JoJo were just like, they were just gonna do what they did. They were just gonna do what they did and stuff like that. And Casey and JoJo, they always have like a strong love from hip hop community, from pop to Wu Tang. Like, yeah, man. And this track Royalty is pretty much talking about just how they coming up, braggadocio. Like Guru definitely putting some of his most cleanest rhymes. I love the line when he says, "Word to Bugsy, enter red alert, sway and take it, funk master flex to make your head jerk. Chicks go berserk when they see us in the spot. Casey, JoJo, Preemo creeping on the top, man. Like, very dope track. Um, Love the use of the Lattimore sample too. So, track number five, Above the Clouds, featuring Inspector Deck. Very dope track right here. And this is probably one of my top three favorite tracks off this album. Inspector Deck probably gave his second best verse in his career with this track. His first obviously being Triumph. Um, Yeah, he pretty much stole the show with this one. Like Guru did his thing, but Inspector stole the show, especially when he says, "I span the universe and return to Earth to claim my throne. The maker, owner, plus sole controller. Ayatollah, rest in the sky. The clouds, my sofa. Excuse me, stand like Colossus, regardless to whom or what." You know, this song's pretty much talking about, you know, one's mental and stuff like that, which I found that to be very dope. Yeah, man, very dope track right here. I love the beat. Like the beat itself is just so atmospheric. Something very different from Preemo at that time. You know what I'm saying? Track number 6, JFK to LAX. Remember how I mentioned Guru got in trouble with the law in the beginning of the video? Well, this was the song where they based it off of. You know what I'm saying? And so with this track right here, the little phone conversation in the beginning from Preemo, I want to say, yeah, between like Preemo and Guru, that was actually a real life conversation and stuff like that. And so, pretty much Guru was just telling us about how, talking about the gun possession charges and how, you know, giving advice to the youth, saying how it's not fucking cool to like, it's not fucking cool pretty much to talk about guns and just publicize guns in your music and stuff like that, and how GangStar's always known to give like a positive representation to the youth, which they've always done that with every one of their single albums and stuff like that. Even Hard to Earn, which a lot of people say that's like their darkest album, has also like been, you know, have some very standard jewels a lot of people would die for and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? So very dope track. That sample, they used the fucking Supremes for that sample, if I'm not mistaken. And it's crazy too because Madlib actually did a sequel track called LAX JFK and stuff like that. So peep that. That's a pretty dope track. Track number 7, it's a setup featuring Hannibal Stacks. Um, yeah, this track right here was a very solid track, just like a braggadocio track right here. Um, Hannibal Stacks pretty much was just an underground artist and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, very solid track. Track number 8, I want to say, is Moment of Truth. This is actually my favorite track off this whole album. Um, very standard track. But one thing about this track was the fact that it's just pretty much a universal track about how washing your back and how one day we all have to face our moment of truth. You know, hence why, you know, Guru was going through what he was going through around this time. The lines, especially when he says, sometimes you gotta dig deep when problems come near. Don't fear things get severe for everybody everywhere. Why do bad things happen to good people? Seems that life is just a constant war between good and evil. Like, very prolific lines right there and shit like that. Because that's the same thing. Because with who are we to consider like what's really good and what's really evil and stuff like that. And even like when it comes to like Christianity and stuff like that, you know, they always do like the pastor always says to abide by the Bible, but a lot of motherfuckers in the Bible do like a lot of shifty shit too. So it's pretty much asking what's really is a good person, what really is a bad person. And Guru just thought like when he had those guns, he was just trying to protect himself and his family and whatnot. Which, yeah, man, like very dope line. I love that track right there. Track number 9, B.I. versus Friendship featuring M.O.P. Believe it or not, this was actually a diss track to J. Rue the Damager. They had some lines aimed at J. Rue the Damager because around this time too, J. Rue the Damager, he had left the GangStarr Foundation due to like disagreements with Preemo. If you guys watch my Why the Beef, the Subliminal History of Life After Death, I kind of go in depth with that. But yeah, this track right here was a very interesting track right here because at first I did not even know it was a diss track because you know basically what I got from this track right here is just like friends come and business comes and stuff like that. Um, Yeah, man, that's definitely a very cool track. MOP definitely did their thing with this one. Yeah. Track number 10, the Militia, featuring Big Shug and Freddie Fox. Very dope track. Again, another classic track right here. Freddie Fox, Bumpy Knuckles, definitely shine on this track right here and stuff like that. In my opinion, like this is right up there with "I'm the Man" and "Sweep the Cloud." In my opinion, especially I love the line when he says, "I get down in '89. I spit a buck in the face of every MC that came into place. A scar you'll never erase. MCs are only recognized for their flow. I'm worldwide for the bitches, but I turn into hoes. You heard me spit it on jewels. That's how it goes for all of them faking ass niggas. How I bust up their nose and stuff like that." And he like, it's crazy because like in the late '90s, he was really getting a breakthrough performance. Like I want to say like his performance on OC's Jewels was like a breakthrough for him and stuff like that. I definitely need to review OC's first two albums. I definitely need to talk about those albums. Like after I talk about what I have to talk about with Gangsta, I'm gonna definitely go into some DITC albums and shit. Yeah, man. Track number 11, "The Rep Grows Bigger." This song right here is, just the braggadocio track. Pretty solid track right there. Track number 12, "What I'm Here For." Very cool track. Nice piano beat. Just Guru talking about fake rappers and stuff like that. Um, and giving the listener what they are here for and shit. Very dope track. Track number 13, "She Knows What She Wants." This was actually, it may be labeled as a GangStarr production, but it's actually fully a Guru production. It's like Guru, you can tell Guru produced this one, just by the more of a jazzy influence and stuff. And I know a lot of cats actually say that this track sucks, but in my opinion, this is actually another dope track. It's a very different, like a very different track. You know what I'm saying? She knows what she wants, man. Like how females know what they fucking want, but they're not saying shit. You know what I'm saying? I love the fucking beat to it. Very clean ass song right here, man. Track number 14, "New York Straight Talk." Very dope track right here. Just them bigging up New York City, even though Guru and Preemo are not originally born in New York and stuff like that. So, yeah, man, definitely a very dope track. I love the sample of EPMD's "It's My Thing." Um, the lines where he says, "Burning flammable rappers is how I get my rocks off. I pop your top off as if you were the bottle. Then I'll drain all your fluid. You're better off playing lotto, man." Like, jeez. Very, very dope track right there. I love this shit. Um, Track number 15, "My Advice to You." Again, another track where he's trying to present positivity towards the listener. And yeah, man, another dope track, very conscious track and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Primo pretty much said that Guru came up with the concept of this track, talking about how, friends always wants to borrow money from them and stuff like that, and they always want to just beg them and shit like that. And it's crazy too, because, it's the same motherfuckers that they'll say they're down for you, but they don't pay you back and shit like that, which I know I've been through that shit. I know hella niggas been through that shit too, so yeah, man. Next track, "Make Them Pay." No pun intended. Featuring Crumb Snatcher. Yeah, this was a very solid track right here too. Pretty much another braggadocio track. Track number 17, "The Mall." Good track, but probably like my least favorite. This features Shiggy Shaw and G Dep. Yes, the same G Dep from Bad Boy Records fame, who dropped the "Child of the Ghetto" album in 2002, which I do have in my collection. Um, yeah, pretty crazy track right here. Like, is I'm glad this was not a single, cause you can tell they were kind of going for like a single with this one. Just even the chorus, like the "Make money, money, go shopping," and yeah, they used that. It's pretty much like based off the Biz Markie track, the Albee Square Mall off the Going Off album and stuff like that. So yeah, pretty straight track. I'm just glad it wasn't a single. Track number 18, "Betrayal," featuring Scarface. Very dope song. Man, this track right here, in my opinion, is really the most relatable track off this album because it just talks about how one goes through some betrayal in their life. Whenever Guru says, I love when he says scandalous, money, greed, and lust. In this trife life, there ain't nobody you can trust. Plus, there's no justice, it's just us. In fact, watching your homies, watching your back is me must. And each and every day around the way gets bust. And jealous so-called friends try to set you up. It's called betrayal. Dun, 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 dun. Oh fucking god, that's a very dope track. So the first verse, Guru was talking about how this 12-year-old kid, pretty much was going through like the hard ass shit, and pretty much his moms and his sister died and shit like that, and so he pretty much got caught up in some drug bin and shit like that, and he got caught up. However, it was a verse of Scarface that really set it on motion. So this and this is why Scarface, man, he's in my top 10, dead ass top 10 right here. It's talking about how this cat was about to be the next ball player and stuff like that. And so the ball player had a brother who was caught up again in a drug game and stuff like that. And so his brother got caught up in some shit. His brother got caught up in some shit. And next thing you know it, I think he was about to get shot, and then his brother, just caught the trigger, caught the bullets and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. It's a very realistic, sad ass shit. Like the line where he says, "Can't wait to face Shaquille in the paint and score Kobe." Rest in peace, Kobe. Kept his grades and stayed up under neighborhood functions. And then a group of knuckleheads came through dumping. So now he's sitting on the sidewalk, bleeding. Fell into a puddle of his own blood, stopped breathing. Like, cause it always be them motherfuckers that are so envious of your success and shit like that. And so they'll do anything to break you down, no matter what. And so that line right there, that story right there is definitely a very, very dope track right there. And I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people want to say, Scarface was like the first Southern rapper to really rap on a Preemo beat and shit like that, and that's actually saying something too. Um, Next track we got, it's called I want to say it's called Next Time, and again it's another track where it's talking about showing off little wannabe rappers and why he's like the top of the game and shit like that. Very, very dope track. And the last track, In Memory Of, just them, giving shout out to all the people who died over the years and stuff like that. Um, Nice way to end off this album, in my opinion. Alright, that's all of the tracks off this album. Overall, this album right here is a classic album, in my opinion. And in my personal opinion, this is GangStarr's best album. Um, they really poured their heart out in this one. Like 4 years after Hard to Earn, and this shit right here just definitely please everybody. Just further everyone's anticipation. Proof GangStarr has what it takes to, excuse me, Proof GangStarr has what it takes to definitely stay toe to toe with what was going on in like the hip hop culture around that time too. Um, yeah, they took a lot of chances on this album, and it pretty much worked out well. That's why I always say Moment of Truth and The Owners were like their most consistent albums and stuff like that. Which I'm gonna try to do The Owners next week. I'm definitely gonna try to do The Owners next week because it's been a while since I've heard that album. So yeah, man, this album is definitely good. Guru again definitely did some of his best work on this album. This album was re-released on vinyl in 2015 by Respect the Classics. I fucking miss Respect the Classics, man. I don't know why they discontinued that shit, but yeah, man, they blessed me with some dope ass. They blessed me with some dope ass like remasters and shit like that. Hey, at least we still gotta get on down and shit like that. But And it's crazy because since this whole epidemic, it's been a good while since I've actually copped some CDs and vinyl. So hopefully stay tuned on that. But at the same time, I might just do like a recap one sometime before the year is over. But other than that, this is a very dope album. It's a classic album in my opinion. Like, yeah, man, very dope shit. Oh, I didn't even talk about how dope the album cover was. How it's like they're in court and some shit like that. So must have in your collection. It's your boy Reg in the building. Hope y'all can follow me on Instagram at MCRegMusic. Follow me on Twitter at RealReg1. Follow me on Patreon on our Reg Reviews. And check out some of my recent song I just dropped called Coming for All the Bitches. Check that shit out. Alright, and hope everyone has a good night. Peace.